Hey everyone, so we are back with the part 3 of the session where we'll be directly jumping to the Git demonstration. So we covered about tracked, untracked, staged and committed in the part 2 of the session. If you haven't watched them, you should just give it a glance again. Okay, it would be better because it will be important for you to understand those concepts and then proceed for the demonstration part. So now on the left side, I'm using my directory and which we'll be working on today. So it's in C user circuit, and the same is open in the Git terminal as well. You can see and check that in the path specified in yellow. Okay, so now before moving forward with the demonstration, one more thing which I would like to tell is that there's a Google Docs link in your description box. There are like we have mentioned all the commands which we'll be covering in the session today. So if you feel a bit difficult to follow in the demonstration, you can open that document parallelly and follow from there. Okay, and second thing is, before moving for the git commands, it's important if you know the basic commands of the terminal, and I'm specifying them in one line, but all of these are separate commands. So just have a look on these things because we'll be using them in the demonstration. So ls is the command which is one command, and its a function is to list all of the things in the directory. We'll check out all of the functions when we execute them. Just don't confuse them right now. Okay, so mkdir is another command which you should know. It makes the directory, which is like creating a new folder. And then we have the commands of touch, which basically creates a new file. When I say create a new file, it means empty file. Nano is the editor. Basically, when I create a new empty file using touch, I can use nano editor to add contents to that file, right? Or delete contents also if I use the existing file. Okay, so nano is an editor kind of a thing. And then we have cat, which basically prints the content of those files. If I type cat and the file name, it will print all of the contents present inside that file. Okay, so then there's a command of rm, which is a delete command. And again, be very careful with these delete commands. If you don't know the function, you should not use them. It can be very dangerous because it can delete directly, and working in command lines, as I said, it's very powerful. So rm is basically for deleting any file, and rm-r is a variation, and it deletes the directory, which means deletes the folder directly. Okay, and I think another command is cd, which is change of directory. In terminals, if I want to go inside a folder, I have to type cd and the folder or directory name or kind of file name as well if I want to go inside that. Okay, so this is basically the use of cd. On the left side, if I want to go inside a folder, what we do is we double click on that folder, right? But in command line, if you want to change the path, basically you write cd. And if I want to go back to the previous folder, you can write cd dot dot. Okay, so all of these are separate commands, and you should know all of these commands. Now I'm inside C user circuit, and on the left side as well, let me type ls. You can see all the files, all the folders present inside that directory are listed out, all of the things, right? So you can verify that as well. Now let me make a new directory. Let me make a new directory named as open source. Okay, so you can see a new folder is created here named as open source. Okay, so dir open source, and it creates a new folder. Now I will use cd to go inside this folder, right? I double clicked on open source on the left side, but still in the command terminal you can see I'm inside the previous path. Okay, so I have to write cd open source. Now I am inside this folder. Now I can type touch file1 .txt to make a new file, and you can see a new file is created here. Okay, you can also see in the bottom left corner it's of 0 bytes, which means it's completely empty. Okay, so it's completely empty. Now I can use nano command, and I can type the file name to edit the contents of this file. You can see it's completely empty file, nothing is printed here. Okay, now I can add anything here. Let me add, my name is some contents basically in the file. Now to exit, you can press Ctrl O, enter Ctrl X, and now I'm back to the terminal. Now you can type cat to actually print the contents of this file. You can see now my name is printed, basically what we added just now using the nano command, and cat prints the contents of those files. Okay, so that is for the functions. And you can also, okay, before doing cd dot dot, let me delete this file. Okay, rm and the file name basically would delete this file. So it deleted on the left side, right? You saw that. Now I'm inside open source folder. To go back to my previous folder, what I will do, I will click on this thing and I'm back to the old folder on the left side, but still in terminal I am inside this. To go back to the previous directory, I will use cd dot dot. You can see path is again pointing to the previous directory which I was working on, right? So cd dot dot works like that. And now let us delete the directory itself which we created just now using rm-r. You can see directory is deleted from the left side and you can verify that. Okay, so these are all basic commands which you should know. Okay, so now let's move forward with the git commands. So before doing that, let us make a new directory. To avoid any confusions, let us name it as session git. Okay, you can see directory is created. Let me go inside this folder in the terminal and then on the left side. Okay, great. Now inside session git folder. Now this is the normal folder. Okay, believe just take it as that mkdir makes a folder, new folder. Okay, it's not a git repository. It is not a git repository till now. Okay, it's a normal folder which you create. Okay, in your systems you would be very familiar with that, but this is not a git folder. It's an empty folder, right? So what you should do to make it a git repository, you should type the command of git init, which is your first and foremost command which you should know in git. Git init basically means initializing a git repository. So now you type git init and it gave you an output of initialized empty git repository in the directory which we are working in. But did you see anything on the left side? No, you didn't see any difference. So what does it mean? Is this command useless? No, it is not. Okay, just because it's not visible on the left side doesn't mean nothing has happened. Okay, you can type ls and check. Obviously it will not print anything because on left side we can't see anything. But if I do ls-a, it will show me everything inside that folder which is hidden also. Okay, so it shows me hidden files. Now you can see .git is a part of this folder. Now to view that, in the left side I will click on hidden items, check the box of hidden items, and you can also see that on the left side. So there's a .git folder present inside that. Okay, and this, believe me, this small folder is the one powerful folder which actually is responsible for your version control and maintaining history. Let me go inside this .git folder and check out what exactly is present inside that. Let me type ls and you can see there are a lot of things present inside this small folder which you created by just a simple command of git init. Okay, so you have head config, everything you have. If we cover everything, it will be very confusing. Just keep in mind head is a part of .git folder right now. Okay, we'll be covering about this head, so that's why keep it in mind that head is a part of .git folder. Okay, so now let me return to the previous directory by using cd dot dot and clear the terminal. So we are in the session git. Okay, so it's empty. We don't want this again. Okay, I want to show you another variation. Let me go back and let me delete this as well. Session git. Okay, so now what we did, we made a new directory, we did git init. Okay, there's an easy alternative to this, which is git init, and you can type the name of the folder you want to create. What it will do, it will create a new git repository for you. So basically internally what it does, it makes a new directory, which means makes a new folder and then initializes a git repository inside that. Okay, so you don't have to write mkdir and then do git init like different and use different commands. This kind of an merged command will help you to do serve achieve both of the purposes. It will make the directory also, and then it will initialize a git repository inside that also. Okay, so now you saw same output you have received, which is initialize the empty git repository, and again a new folder is created Now if I go inside this folder, already there's a .git folder. Okay, so I don't need to again do that. So it initialized a empty git repository and made a new folder for that as well. Okay, so this is like two variations for the git init command. Let me clear this, and don't forget to change your path. Okay, I am inside C user surrogate. Now I have to go inside session git again to avoid any more confusions. Okay, now I am inside session git folder. Now I will make new files. Let me name it as file1.html and let me make another file which is file2.html. Okay, two new files are created. You can see on the left side as well. Everything is happening side by side. Okay, so now I will use command of get status. What do you think it will print? Untracked files. So as we had covered in the part 2 of the session as well, when you create new files, when you add new files, all of the things would be specified as untracked. Unless and until you specify that I want to track these files, Git won't take it. Git would term it as untracked, and you have to tell Git I want to track this, or basically bring them to the staging area. Okay, so what you should do to add them to the staging area? You will use the command of git add dot. Okay, so obviously there are three variations to this command as well. Git add is the main command, and then you have variations. So if you want to add one file, only file1.html, you can type like this, git add in the file name. Now you have multiple files, so this is one variation which I showed. Now second variation is when you have multiple files, you can give a space and then you can specify the file name of the another file, like I did. Okay, if you do this, both the files would be in the staging area. But there's an easy alternative to all of these things, because this can go clumsy and you can make mistakes as well in the file names. Okay, so there's an easy alternative that you write git add dot. What is the function of this? It will take all the files inside that directory at that particular instant of time which are untracked. So at present we have only file1 and file2 which are untracked. So it will take both of these files. Okay, every time if you write git add dot, it will take all of the files which are untracked. Okay, so you don't need to specify file names. So this is an easy alternative. And now if you do git status, you can check what happened. Did it actually bring them to the staging area? You can verify that. Yes, it did. Before, if you go back in the video and check, it was mentioned in red and you could see untracked mentioned here. Now it's changed to green color and you can see changes to be committed, which means they are not committed but they are in the staging area, right? So you can now be assured that these two files are in staging area. Okay, so now what is the command which you should use to unstage? Basically, I want to stage only file one. I did both of them. So you can use this command of git rm double hyphen caged, and you can specify the file name which you want to unstage. Let me take it as file2.html, and I only wanted to stage file one. So now you type that command, executed that. Now you can use git status to check. So file 2 again is in untracked and red color. Still file 1 is in staging area and in green color. Okay, so this is the difference between what is staging, untracked also. That, yeah. And also you can also bring back files from staging area to untracked versions. Okay, so you got that. And yeah, now to avoid any more confusion, I think I will add both these files. Okay, both these files, and yeah, both these files are in staging area. So now you should understand that when I do commit, what it will do, it will merge, not merge, but it will take both these files. Okay, and a one commit message only would be made, no two separate commit messages would be made. And this thing I've like covered in the part 2 of the session as well. Okay, so it's on you how many files you bring to the staging area, but when you make a commit, all the files present in the staging area would be covered inside that one commit. Whether like even if it's 10 files, 100 files, anything, how many number of files in the staging area, everything would be inside that one commit only. Okay, that one commit will enclose all of those files in the staging area. At present we have two files, so when I do commit, both these files would be covered inside this one single commit. So to commit, you have the command of git commit hyphen m, is basically giving the message in the terminal itself. If I type git commit alone, it will open an editor for you to enter the commit message. Okay, I don't want to open a separate thing, so I will type hyphen m to give a message here itself in the terminal. Two files are added. Let me give it as that. Two files added, just that. Okay, and one tip to all the beginners or viewers of this video: please give meaningful commit messages here. These are the things responsible for, like, these are the things that will be visible. Okay, so when you are reviewing your project, commit messages would be visible to you, and that's what will give you the idea what specific change you made. Okay, so you have to be very clear in giving commit messages. Don't give vague commit messages here. Be descriptive about it, and at the same time it should be short. Okay, descriptive doesn't mean you give paragraphs here and all of that. Be short and give as much as information as possible in that small commit message. Okay, and make it meaningful so that you are only able to get most out of it in future if you are reviewing. Okay, so now when I executed that, you can see two files added, two files changed. Obviously zero insertions were done, yeah, because we created these files, we didn't add anything. So empty files, zero insertions, zero deletions as well, nothing was deleted or added. So yeah, everything is clearly specified here. Now what do you think will the output of git status be? Will it show committed? No, because the scope of git status is from untracked to staging area. After that, it's no longer responsible, and you have another command which is git log, which basically will show you the history of your commits done till now. So at present we have made only one commit, so it shows you one commit listed out here. Each commit is recognized by its unique commit hash ID. This hash ID is unique in the whole world. Okay, this can't be same to any commit hash ID. This is unique to your own commit made here. This can't be same with anyone elsewhere. Okay, just keep a note of that. And you can see the history as well, which is specified in the slides in the part 1. Who made what changes and when. So who made is basically the author, what changes is basically your commit message, and the timestamp, which is when. And you can also see head, which was a part of .git folder, is pointing to main. So we till now just ignored this main, so now I'll clarify what is this main. Main is the default branch which you actually deal with when you're working in git. Okay, it can be master also in your systems, or it can be main also, depending on your own systems. Okay, both master and main are same only. These are default branches. The concept of branches I will cover in the GitHub demonstration, because there would be very clear and I'd be better able to explain there, because branching and all would be very clumsy and it would be very difficult for you to understand in the terminal. So better I will explain it in Git, but at present just take it as a basic or default branch which you work on is main or master in Git. So head is kind of a pointer which is pointing to the main branch, which is the default branch as well. Okay, so now you saw git log as well. There are certain like variations to git log, which is basically flags. So there is git log --stat, which is basically will show you what exactly was added, inserted. So we'll see that in the second commit actually what happens in that. Let me now show you the concept of modified, which we covered in the part 2. So let me edit file 1 and add anything inside this. Okay, so editor is open, and yeah, editor is open, and I added 2 lines, which is basic HTML tags. Now to close this, I will use this. Okay, now I close them, and yeah, now if you do git status, you can see it's clearly specifying modified, and you should make a note of this, that changes not staged, which means these are in unstaged version, not an untracked version. So you have to again stage them by using git add dot. Now I will do commit again. Now you can see two comments are there. Okay, so I by mistakenly added this semicolon. I didn't want to. Yeah, so now you can see two comments are there, and one thing which you should notice that each and every comment is built on another comments, right? So this file one was made on the top of this, so these two are connected with each other, right? So once we make three commits, I will explain this concept as well of connections. So yeah, this is covered. Now let me do one more thing. Yeah, now first let's clear the terminal, and then let me again modify another file, nano, and file 2, let me modify that. Great, so now let me add html again. Let me add body this time. Body tags are added and the ending tag of html, right? So 4 lines are added. Okay, so now there's a command of get def and file2. Let me specify the file name, and you can check what is the function of this. Okay, so function of this is basically to show you the difference between the versions of file. Okay, so now file 2 was committed before, and now I changed it or modified it. You can see what specific changes I made. So this diff command function is to basically specify what changes happen in the two versions of the file. So A version is basically the file which was there in the commit, and B version is the one we edited just now. Okay, so what happened? One file was changed and 4 new lines were inserted, right? So this is what basically the meaning of this. One file was affected or changed, which is file 2, and 4 lines were inserted, and you can see all of that prefixed with the plus, which means inserted. If I had deleted, it would have mentioned it in minus, prefixed with minus, and showed it in red. But yeah, here it's showing it in green because we have added, so 4 lines were added. So this is the function of get def command. There's one more command which is again doing the same purpose, which is get def 2, and again the file name, let me do that. What it will do, it will open a specific thing. You can see what prints launch vmdef. Okay, so it's opening something and it will show you the same thing. You can see on the left side it's the previous version where it was empty, and on the right side is the updated version or the edited version, which shows you what exactly happened. So 4 lines were inserted, you can see. Okay, had it been deleted, it would have shown you here, and as we have inserted, it's showing here. Okay, so this is the previous left side, and right side is the new version. Okay, so now what you should do to exit, press escape, give a colon, and type qa. Now I'm back to the terminal. Let me clear it so you understand about get diff and get diff tool both.